Okay, all right. What up, everybody? This is our round two of our mock draft review that we just did at Sport Ethos. It's 16 team, 1 QB, PPR. Nathan just did a big write up today. You should definitely check that out. You should also definitely sign up for the All Sports Pass, right? We do all sorts of fantasy stuff, but we're focusing fantasy football draft guide. It's awesome, chock full of stuff. All right, so you guys want to introduce yourselves? We'll go Nate first. Nathan.
Sure. What's going on? I'm Nathan. This is my second year with Sports Ethos. It's been real nice getting like a full off season to kind of prepare this year and get going. And got a bunch of pieces out, and I'm really excited to work with everybody and see what everybody's dropping. It's nice to be a part of it.
Yeah, and then I'm Anthony Quaranta, also my second year with Sports Ethos. Excuse me. Just happy to be here. Excited to talk fantasy football. Get to write about it a little bit. Hopefully, it's helpful to you all in winning you guys some games.
All right, perfect. Okay, so let's jump into it. So, well, what was everybody's pick here? I'm looking at the big board. I think I had about 6, 7, 8.
I was pick
6,
11.
And I was
11,
at 13.
13. Okay, you guys are at the end. Okay, do you guys have a preference? Let's say you could pick any spot here. Where would you be going?
Ooh, I think there's a cliff after like the top 9 or 10. So top 10 is usually where I'm trying to be, but preferably in the top 4, I think.
I was I was actually trying to strategize where I would need to be if we could trade up in this draft, but obviously we didn't because it's a mock to target Amon Ra, and I was thinking anywhere from like 6 to 8 is where he would probably go. So that's the range I would have liked to pick, and if not, obviously towards the top even more. But that's about the low of where I would have wanted to pick personally.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Okay, so we'll just, I guess, I don't know if we want to do everyone's name here, but we'll go first round, right? Pretty chalky, right? We got Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. I'd say those are the lock top three, right? But then four, right? Justin Jefferson. What would you guys go for?
Mm, Anthony, you want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah, sorry, I'll do that.
I like Justin Jefferson. For sure, I think that that's a great pick. But I mean, I have Amon Ra as my wide receiver too, so it would have been hard for me to pass him even there. That or in such a deep league, I might have went with either Bijan or Brees Hall, just to lock down one of the top running backs there.
Nathan?
I'm really high on Amon Ra too. Just piggybacking like in the last month or so, he's climbed like I think he's above Jefferson given the like just the safety he is in the first round. It's kind of unparalleled. I think he's like a I have him like as a wide receiver 3B to chase. Um, but I don't mind Jefferson at all. Obviously, I mean he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. I think. I don't think that's egregious to say. And he's produced with anybody throwing him the ball. He's going to get schemed up. It should work out no matter who's as long as he can stay on the field himself.
Okay, cool. And then yeah, so we go Jefferson Chase. I go Bijan. So me and Brian took Brees Hall. So let's say Bijan and Brees are both there. Who are you guys going first? Nathan, will you?
I've gone back and forth a lot, but I think I'm in on Brees Hall. I think he's just, dude. It just feels like he could really tap that Christian McCaffrey level in an efficient, concentrated offense with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I love Bijan too. I think he's going to be solid, but I think that everything's just in place for Brees to really take off this year.
Nathan and I seem to be in lockstep because I mean, I'm going Brees too. It's definitely not an easy decision. You're kind of really excuse me. You're kind of really splitting hairs, right? Both guys have a similar role, and well, I guess the Falcons might be projected to be a better offense, but I think they have a little bit more reliable weapons. So I just think Brees is going to I just think he might lead the league in running back touches this year. I'm all in on him as well.
So essentially, you're calling me an idiot for going Bijan, right?
No.
Okay. So then Amon Ra, you guys are team Amon Ra. Okay, Brees. So that's the tier, right? We say after Hall, right? Because Puka's like, I mean, he's probably fallen even further now. But we go Puka, Barkley, Wilson. Anthony, I know you love your Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, and Gibbs Taylor. Would you call that that's the next tier?
Yeah, so I actually have AJ Brown up in that top tier at the
Okay.
end of it, but I think he belongs up there. I think like when he's firing on all cylinders, he has like it's I mean you could make the same argument for everybody, but I just like the chances of him being that go-to guy in the offense again and just scoring a bunch of touchdowns. He went dry after I want to say week 8 last year. Had a terrible touchdown like run to close the year. I think he had one in the last 9 games or something like that.
It was bad.
That's just off the top of my head,
Yeah.
but just upping the efficiency again and getting some like positive regression throughout the season should bode well for him.
Okay. So, and then we would go Gibbs, Taylor, Harrison, Drake, London. Anthony, favorite pick based on the spot in that round? Least favorite?
Of the entire first round,
Yeah.
I'd probably, just to not hammer home the Amon-Ra St. Brown love here, I think my favorite pick is probably either AJ Brown at 12 or Drake London at 16.
Boy.
I'm all in on Drake London this season. I love that pick there at 16 overall.
Okay. So Drake, since I know you're in the floor ceiling, what's his ceiling? What's the best case scenario for him this season?
Best case scenario for him, and this I guess also depends on Kirk Cousins' Achilles.
I think they're both going to throw, right? So
yeah, they'll probably both play a little bit at some point. But yeah, I think his ceiling is probably pushing top, maybe like 6 or 7.
stats, give me numbers. 1,500 yards, 1,250, 10 TDs.
Yeah, I just think he's going to be the go-to in that offense, and Kirk Cousins has obviously been able to support the wide receiver one for quite a few years with Justin Jefferson. So, as long as the quarterback is healthy, Drake London is going to the moon this season, I think.
Okay. And then so Jacob took Marvin Harrison there, right? But then then we do we didn't do second round reversal, right?
No, we didn't do the third round reversal.
Yeah, third round. Okay, yeah, sorry, yeah. But so we got that Marvin Harrison, Drake London, Ayuk, Evans, Olave, Adams. Is that the order? You guys would take them?
I would probably take Adams over Olave, and I don't know that I would have taken Kyron Williams right there, but yeah, the only thing I really see is I would pick Adams over Olave.
Okay, well, they went back to back, so it's not too bad. Okay, and then we get the first QB off the board, right? So, Anthony, is that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
Going in on Josh Allen in the second round. I just think in such deep leagues, the onesie position, if you can get a top tier elite player at that position, it just makes such a huge difference, and you have that weekly positional advantage over your opponent. So in deeper leagues, that's a strategy I really like to use.
Okay, yeah, okay, and then Nate, yeah, you went Olave, right? So what's I just wrote a bit about Olave, but tell me on why'd you go him?
Yeah, it's kind of more of the same of last year. Kind of just hoping like I think he ran bad with a lot of the offensive line is going to be tough to get the ball out again this year, but I think um the scheme change they're going for, they're moving, they're doing a lot of pre-snap motion, kind of should help open things up a bit more, kind of get more dynamic. It felt like a lot of times Olave was just catching a go route down the sideline, just being better than a defender. But if they can like kind of manufacture like high value targets his way this year, I think he could smash. And um, assuming the offensive line can hold up to any degree, I think it should be possible, and I think he could hit on this value.
Yeah, he's kind of a post-type sleeper, right? I think he didn't score a touchdown until week 5, right? He had 300 yards after week 3, and then the Saints' offense was actually kind of sneaky good. Like, what do you guys think they ranked? Passing touchdowns, points, and I think passing yards, average.
You said for last season?
Yeah,
Oh,
I know the answer, so I'm cheating.
Like,
I
where do I
would
think they ranked, or are we
Yeah.
putting like
Where do you think they
numbers on it?
Top what?
Their passing offense. God, off the top of my head, I can't imagine it was very good. Maybe top 20, 22-ish is
Nathan?
the area I'm
Yeah.
thinking. So, I mean,
That's
they
where
probably
I
played
was
from
at.
behind a decent bit, and then you had to throw it at some point. So I don't think they were the worst team in the league, but
Mhm.
I definitely
were-
don't think they were top half.
I had him about like 24, 22 range.
They were top 10.
Wow.
Wow.
Can you believe that? I was shy to double check. I mean, maybe double check my numbers, but yeah, I think they were like 10th and like 9th in TDs, 10th in yards. So I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, where did Derek Carr finish last year? If that's the case, if they finished top 10.
We didn't run it all, so it's kind of like how Tua, right, was. So
Yeah.
but yeah, he's probably, I don't know what Carr was, probably at QB 14, 16, something like that.
I think he turned the ball over a lot last year too.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of picks. Yeah. Okay, let's move. So yeah, we got Josh Allen there, first QB off. Then we get the running back run, right? Travis Etienne, Etienne, Cup. Cup would probably go earlier, right, with the Puka news.
Probably a little bit.
Okay, and then Derrick Henry, Pacheco. So let's rank those running backs. Etienne, Etienne, Henry, Pacheco. Nathan, go.
Okay. So I think I probably have it in redraft format. I'd probably go Henry, Pacheco. I think it gets hard for me between Achan and ETN. I think that it's going to be kind of hard to predict Achan's spike weeks. Given all the mouths to feed in that offense, I think a few of them could hit on a given day. But if I want like a guaranteed guy that I can start, every week and have a guaranteed production, I'd rather have one of the other 3 guys in a redraft format personally. But I think I'd go Henry, Pacheco, ETN, Achan.
Okay. So yeah, Anthony, we're talking all floor, all ceiling. Etienne and Chain, that's kind of the perfect, right? Etienne is kind of an all floor guy. He's getting his rushes, but I mean, he's under 4 yards a carry. And then Chain, his rushing numbers look like receiving numbers.
Oh yeah, Devin Achan or A-Chain is definitely going to make the all ceiling team, probably as the RB1 on the all ceiling team, expected to come out later at some point. I'd have a similar order to Nathan though. I'd probably go Pacheco first. I just think he's the safest option. He's the clear RB1. They didn't add anybody to that backfield, I don't think. And it's such a high-powered offense, and they don't ever run the quarterback sneak, probably because the one time they did, Patrick Mahomes got hurt. So Pacheco gets all of that. That can lead to a lot of those goal line touchdowns that other quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, namely, and Josh Allen are going to take away from the running back.
Yeah.
So
great point.
Yeah, Pacheco is definitely the safest in my opinion there.
Can I interject one question to you guys real quick? Is there any thought to like the improved receiving room taking away work from the Kansas City running game?
Yes. The short answer there is yes. I also, on another note, I believe that the Chiefs might be among the top teams to throw the ball as far as passing attempts, just because they didn't look. Patrick Mahomes, when they had Kelce in his prime and Tyreek Hill, I mean, they were airing it out. They didn't get to do that last year, and really even the year before that, just due to the lack of, wide receiver talent. So I think now that they have that in Hollywood, I think he'll be fine with the injury. I think he'll be fine pretty early in the season. And then Rice and the Speedster Worthy, I really think that they are going to want to air it out this season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so yeah, I just wrote about it a bit. So they were second in the league in their pass rush splits, but first in pass rate over expectation, right? So I don't think it's going to get that more drastic. But especially last year, I think Mahomes had his lowest like ADOT or yards per attempt. So I think that'll go up. Probably maybe spread the field a bit, but yeah, you kind of when you want a running back, you want it in a run heavy offense, especially early running back. But Pacheco's going to have to do more with less. I mean, because they're not. The Chiefs aren't going to start. It's not going to go even 60-40, right? 65-35 is the best you'll get, and you're probably not going to get that. But next is like this seems to be the de facto argument in fantasy right now, right? Tight end early, right? Tight end's been a wasteland for years. It's kind of been Kelce or bust, with little Mark Andrews, little Kittle, but now we got all these young guns up there. And everyone's saying don't take tight end early, just get one of the top tier, right? So Sam Laporte, a second round. What's that pick? 20, pick 30, pick 28 or something. Where do you guys stand? Anthony, go first.
I mean, if you want him, that's the range you got to take him. That's a little. I guess in a 16-team league, yeah, I think I'm in. I think I'm in on Laporta at 212. You shore up that 1Z position, and I mean he's going to be the 1B in that passing offense at the very least. So
Yep.
I think I'm in. I think I'm in there.
Nathan?
Yeah, I go back and forth on this a lot. I love Laporta. He was my guy last year. But I just think that with all the talent at the position, spending up such a steep draft capital when you can get guys like, I think even like Njoku and Bowers have an outside chance, at least an outside chance of finishing top 3 at the position minimum. And I think that like the weekly disparity isn't going to be as drastic as it was when you had Kelce and Gronk and Andrews dominating the tight end leaderboard. And I think that it's just more important to shore up the positions that will get thinner faster, like running back, or with how demanding wide receiver is nowadays. Receiver.
Yeah, Brian made a good point with the onesies, right? If you go tight end, you shotgun on quarterback, right? If you go early quarterback, you shotgun tight end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I agreed with. I thought that was a really good point. Okay, so after that, Josh Jacobs, he's probably my number one fade guy this season. I don't trust him. I don't think he's very good. He's had one good season. But then, okay, so we go Rashad White, Nico Collins, DK Metcalf, Waddle. So first, Houston wide receiver off the board. That seems to be the other big thing, right? What do you do with the offense? You got 3 wide receivers. Do you go for the top one? Do you go for the last one, right? We got the Chiefs with their guys. We got the Bears with their guys. We got the Packers with their 4. Houston with their 3. So, Anthony, take me away again. What's your strategy?
I definitely like Nico Collins. I think that those wide receiver rooms are going to be tough. They all have 3, super talented guys. I'm probably in a redraft. I'm probably not going to take the first one, though. I guess I did with DJ Moore. So, I don't know. I think it's kind of tough though. I definitely like the players. It just depends who's available, if I'm willing to take that risk or not. Really, to be honest. But I think Nico Collins is probably definitely going to be the one in Houston, and I think just kind of piggybacking off my DJ Moore selection, I think he'll definitely be the one in Chicago.
Yep. I'd say that's DJ Moore is probably the safest where to be the one, right? In all the crowded rooms. Okay, so then we got Waddle, Joe Mixon, so Neighbors, right? So Neighbors, right? Second wide receiver, second rookie off the board, right? He seems like one of the most talented, but is he falling too far? Should he follow further? What are you doing, Nathan?
Yeah, I like him here. I think he's going to get a ton of targets. He has the chance to come in and just take on a monster role, much like Marvin Harrison. I think there's a lot to be said about the risk of quarterback play holding him back. But I don't know. I think that it works out for the Giants this year. I think that Daniel Jones does have it. It's just putting it together, and he's got all the supporting cast in the world right now. I think Neighbors, just giving him that alpha target could do wonders for him, and I think that they could become a good pair this season.
Oh yeah, Anthony, you're the Giants fan, right?
I certainly am.
Okay, I'm gonna fill my work. Give me your 30-second Malik Neighbors. Sell me, or I doubt you're fading him, but I'll be right back.
So I think Malik Neighbors is going to be an excellent NFL wide receiver. I just don't know that I'm taking him at his current cost this season, in large part because of the offense and the quarterback play, with the Giants being questionable. I mean, in 2022, Daniel Jones had he had a good season. Led them to the playoffs. Was a pretty safe quarterback, but that was a lot in part due to his rushing and not necessarily his passing. So. I think it might be tough for Malik Neighbors in year one. I certainly like the upside, and that's probably where you are going to have to take him. I just think he's being drafted at his ceiling, and I'm not willing to take that risk, at least at this point in time.
Yeah, I'll jump in and say that he probably is closer to kind of that Sam Laporta, Devon A-Chain group of guys that are just I really like, but are probably a little overpriced for my liking. I think that Neighbors' floor is a little too shaky to be taken at cost, but he's I like his upside more than his downside, personally.
Yeah, I mean, if he hits, you probably should have taken him higher if he hits. I just have a hard time believing he's going to hit his true ceiling in year one in the Giants' offense as currently constructed.
Yeah,
Definitely scary.
Yeah, at least they'll probably be down, playing from behind a lot. And then we got one of the other big questions, like Kelce, right? I spent 10 years, I had the whole thing. If Kelce was available, I took him. I didn't care where I was drafting, 1st, 7th, 20th, But this seems like the time to fade him, right? Would you rather ride it to the end with Kelce or get off too early? Nathan, hit me.
Yeah, so Kelce kind of is in that is I think McBride has the upside that I would be willing to pay up for at his price, but Kelce, I think that the usage will trend down in the regular season, and I think if I remember correctly, during the fantasy playoffs, he has like 3 games in 10 days between 15, 16, and 17. And
Really? Oh, wow.
that could be brutal. And a guy with that schedule on likely a reduced workload as they prepare for the playoffs is not drafting someone this high that you can't use in the playoffs doesn't sound fun to me. And that alone might be enough to pan him down the draft board for me.
Anthony?
Yeah, I think Kelce is. I mean, I still think he's among the best tight ends in the league, but I think this is the year where I think that there's some young guys on the rise that I would just prefer that have a higher upside. That Sam Laporta, Trey McBride, Dalton Kincaid. Those guys are set up to have Travis Kelce like roles. In with the ages that Travis Kelce was in his prime and whatnot. So I just think that I am going to take the upside swing on a younger tight end, just I think with a little bit more upside than taking Kelce at this point. But I mean, he's been the top tight end for how many years? You really can't count him out till he's out. But
yeah, that's true. Exactly right. Especially in fantasy football, there's a lot of value in riding the old guys, right? Yeah, everyone likes to get off early. I know I do. So we go Debo. I took Trey McBride. We talked about tight ends, and then little QB run, right? Jalen Hurts, Lamar. Are you guys? So is the QB the top QB tier? Is it 3 guys? Are you excluding Mahomes out, the best player in football, or is he undervalued?
It's 4 for me. I think it's the top 4. I think Mahomes is part of it.
Yeah, I think it's a top 4 as well. I agree.
The
order can be questioned. I think Josh Allen is definitely 1. 2 through 4 have your pick, but they're all in the same tier.
So you would rather take 4, right? If you're not getting 1, you want to get 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, essentially. Unless I plan on trying to get a stack, like if not that it worked out in this trap, like if you wanted to get Jackson and Andrews, obviously you're going to take Jackson, but if I'm just going just straight off of talent, Patrick Mahomes would have been my number 2 quarterback.
Okay. I'm just looking. Did you guys get any stacks? Anthony, I see. So you went Garrett Wilson. Oh, I guess you weren't going to take Rodgers late, right?
I thought about it. If I didn't take Josh Allen, the plan was to go Rodgers late, but I was able to, I don't know how deep we're going to go into this, but I was able to take Curtis Samuel in the 7th round.
Ooh, I like that.
For the little stack. And then just for some of you best ball folks, the correlation here of Garrett Wilson is the Week 17 championship game bring back to the Bills Jets, should we get there. That was the little strategy there as well. So, I was able to sneak in a stack there, backdoor it.
Okay. And then we go. So after Lamar, we get Michael Pittman. Anthony, your guy. I think we argued about him for
I was so upset he went 2 picks before me. That was a slam dunk.
Man.
And then but you went DJ. But you went DJ Moore. I mean, I would probably take DJ Moore over Pittman, but that's me. But
sure.
I mean, Pittman's probably going to be the sole alpha in the passing game. DJ Moore might have to fight for some, but I think he's the clear one. Kamara, and then Nate, you took Mahomes. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Were you praying for Mahomes? Were you like fall?
Not necessarily. I kind of just thought that I thought that the tier of receivers was kind of ambiguous, and I knew I wanted one of these 2 picks to be a receiver. And I saw Mahomes fail, and I knew it was a teardrop. Like you said, after the top 4, I think they all have like at least a 20% chance of making or being the top guy this year. They could all hit. That's the thing. They could all just be QB1s in theory. They could all break that 400-point barrier. It's just picking your guy, and Mahomes happened to fall into my lap.
I mean, so that's 32. So he's going what there? 50? Almost 50th? Like,
yeah.
We might look back at this mock in a year and be like, everyone else was stupid except for Nathan. Okay, then we go Devontae, James Cook, who's one of my guys. Did one of you guys write about him as a do not draft?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about James Cook, but yeah, it's been a minute since I yapped about him, but I'm not sold on his workload being. I guess it's the inverse argument of Pacheco in Kansas City, seeing how the wide receiver personnel dropped and maybe they could lean a little heavier on the ground game. I don't know. I just don't trust his red zone role. They were using Latavius Murray over him in the red zone. I can't get on board of a guy who's not going to get who's unlikely to get high value touches in the red zone when it counts.
Sure, of course, yeah.
And yeah, it's another thing where I just like guys later on the board more than him.
Yeah, my quick argument is that with Diggs and Gabe Davis gone, right? I think that's 15 touchdowns available, and then Allen rushed for 15 when he averages about 7 or 8. So there's potentially like 20 touchdowns on the board there, and if he can get even 40% of them, right, he's just gonna have a monster.
Yeah.
Okay, so boom, Cook, Diggs. Then we go back. So what's Anthony? So we go Cooper, Jaden Reed. Is that the first Packer wide receiver? Wow, it's Jaden Reed. Okay. Nate, you took Tank Dell again, Connor, and then Anthony T. Higgins. Okay. So contract dispute. You worried about a trade? What was going through your head here?
At this point, I was toying between running back and a third wide receiver. I think when you played in our starting rosters, I think we're 3 wide receivers.
Yeah.
So I put a little more emphasis on the wide receiver position, obviously, I guess. But I had a feeling running backs were going to dry up pretty quickly. So I was kind of on the fence. I thought that maybe Stevenson might make it back to me. I've learned in this draft, 16 teams don't expect anybody to come back to you. But I mean, I like Higgins. It's a really good offense. Should anything happen to Jamar Chase, who currently I don't think is showing up to practice, but we didn't know that during our draft. But anything like that happens, I mean, he's the alpha on a great offense. So he's kind of a 1A in my opinion.
So you kind of kickstarted this wide receiver run minus Stroud going, but so we got T. Higgins, George Pickens, Zay Flowers, Terry McLaurin, and I took Keenan Allen. So Nathan, how would you go those wide receivers?
Let's see, starting with Higgins.
Well, you had that Higgins. Would you have taken Higgins there?
Yeah, I think Higgins is the top of that bunch for me. I think it'd probably be Higgins, Flowers. Probably Higgins, Flowers, McLaurin, Pickens, Allen.
Okay.
But
So
I don't want to be out on Allen though. I'm kind of scared about like Allen's in kind of this weird tier for me that I don't know where to take him. But I mean,
I think if we did this draft again today, he would have fallen like 2-3 rounds. Right?
Keenan Allen. I've been a huge Keenan Allen fan his whole career. I feel like he's always underdrafted, and I feel like it's happening again this year, to be honest. Side note, I am so far out on Pickens, you can't believe it. I do not want the wide receiver one in Arthur Smith's offense.
Good
You're
point.
getting like wide receiver 30 something at that point, and I'm just out on that.
That's a good point. Okay, so you take an elite wide receiver 2 over maybe a sketchier wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I would. I would take a wide receiver 2, like Higgins, in a much better offense over a wide receiver 1 in an offense that I'm not expecting to be very good, at least a passing game.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the crux of fantasy, right? Like I always try and, as a rule, right, don't take wide receivers with bad QBs, right? All you do is get driven crazy. Okay, so boom. So yeah, I mean T. Higgins, I love Higgins, but I feel like he's underperformed the last 2 years, right? He nurses an injury and then he'll play, but then get no catches. He's just kind of been driven me crazy. CJ Stroud, where are you guys on him? Right, he's the darling of fantasy, right? Everyone loves him, but doesn't run. What's he going to need to justify, to be a QB, even top 5 QB?
yeah, I think he's like he. I think he goes like around early, personally. I don't know. I'm kind of like I love him. I think I'm in on him, but I kind of like the profile that Anthony Richardson offers a lot more, and he can be flipped in drafts with him. I like Kyler this year. It's just another like tier break. Like I like the top 4. Stroud's kind of in this middle area, and I'd rather just push it to a later value in the draft at that point.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So Anthony, what's your? So we got your top 4 QBs, and then who would you take 5th?
This is where it gets really hard. Stroud is definitely up there. Anthony Richardson's up there for sure. I really like Dak Prescott. I don't know that I'd push him up to quarterback 5. Though seeing he did go quarterback 6. I think Dallas is going to lead the league in passing attempts because they don't have a ton of talent in the backfield. Though I do like Rico Dowdle this season. Yeah, I think those are probably, Kyler Murray also. I think you can throw his name up there. Those are probably the 4 I'd consider after that. It's just tough, I think, after the top 4.
Okay, I agree. How big are you guys on stacking? Right, like if let's see, QBs. Right, Nate, you got Mahomes. Were you trying to get Worthy, Hollywood, or Rashee Rice at all?
Yeah, I really like Rice and Worthy this year. I was a little skeptical on Hollywood Brown even before the injury, and even now it's all the more unlikely. It just makes me like Worthy a lot more because I think he'll be able to get into a rhythm with the offense a lot sooner. Just kind of taking that target above him in the offense out of the way could kind of help bring him on a little bit faster than Rice did last year because Rice took a minute to kind of settle in, and but Worthy could get the fast track, assuming Brown misses the start of the season. But yes, I was hoping to get one of them fall. They didn't, unfortunately. And I think Brown was on the board, but I just wasn't comfortable taking him.
Okay.
I didn't want to force the stack if I don't have to.
And then so Anthony, kind of same thing with you, but it's right. You got Samuel, but like was the goal maybe try and like just splatter the entire Bills wide receiving room, and then one hits, you're set.
So I was actually hoping for Dalton Kincaid to come back to me, where I took T. Higgins in the 4th round. So,
Okay.
yeah, Keith really bummed me out there. That's what I was hoping for. I am in as far as redraft goes. I am out on drafting Keon Coleman. I think that he is going to end up taking the same kind of rookie season arc that Rashee Rice did, where it just kind of takes him a minute to find his role in the offense. But then at some point towards the end of the season, I do think that he has the potential to get it going. I definitely wanted a stack. I think that Curtis Samuel has a bit of an outside chance at leading the Bills in targets this season, honestly. Plus, he has that gadget play rushing upside.
Yeah.
I
Poor
mean,
man's Debo.
yeah. Curtis Samuel is probably my sleeper this season for the wide
I,
receiver
I like
position.
that.
So.
So, but I'm looking here in round 8, right? You went Chuba Hubbard with Shakir on the board. Were you thinking about going back to back Bills wide receivers?
No, I think that Shakir and Worthy, actually, to Nate's point earlier, I think that they're much better best ball picks than they are redraft picks. I don't know that I see either one of them having a clear weekly role. And you're just going to have to kind of try to pick and choose your weeks. And that can get tough, I think, as far as redraft goes. So I really try not to draft either one of them when it comes to my redraft leagues.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll jump in and say
Yep.
that like those kinds of guys are guys that I like a lot more when I have more wide receivers early on my team, and you can kind of afford to take that shot. And then if you hit on it, then you smash and you have 4 top flight receivers.
I'm with you
Like in
there
this
for
league, you
sure.
start up to 4.
It's more palatable if you have some safer guys ahead of them, because if it hits, I mean, you can trade another guy for a position of need, but yeah, more favorable if you're deeper at the position.
Okay. Well, shockingly, we've been going almost 40 minutes. We got to round 5, so I'm just going to abandon going through the draft. We'll go favorite picks. Or Nathan, yeah, you wrote. So what picks kind of jumped out as you as good value, bad value?
Okay, I'll come through. One that jumps out just because you just mentioned him, but Chuba Hubbard late. I think he's going to be awesome to start the year. He was rock solid. Brooks is, I think I've seen it said that he's going to be out 4 weeks, and
Yeah, I saw that.
he's a rookie. He's coming off injury. The production's going to be ramped up as slow as he needs it to be. Um, they're not going to compete this year. Uh, it would be. I don't think it would be smart for Carolina to rush him on. And Chubb is the type of guy when you put off running back on your draft. If you take him late, you have a starter for the first 6 weeks of the year, and you can take that time to find a guy on the wire or through a trade to kind of bring in a solid starter in his place once you know what assets you can expend.
Okay. Who else?
Um, I snagged them. I think Jalen Warren's going to be a smash this year. I think Najee could smash this year. I think they both could be insane in this Arthur Smith led offense. I think Brian grabbed
Najee.
Najee a little after I did.
Yeah.
I grabbed Warren. I like Warren's explosiveness a lot more than Harris, and I think that he's just gonna have more valuable touches. Even if Harris profiles like uh, more of that Arthur Smith hard nosed running guy, Warren's has insane broken tackle numbers. He could. It should have been last season, but with Najee, no rookie contract, 5th year picked up. It's new regime in Pittsburgh. All signs point now for Arthur Smith. Warren could easily be like a third-round pick next year if things go right.
Okay, Anthony, what jumps out at you when you're looking at this giant big board?
Are we talking specific round or just anything in general?
Whatever you want. You can talk about your own team if you know this pick you really liked. If somebody's really sniped you, you know.
Yeah, sure. So, well, Nathan nailed my thoughts on drafting Chuba Hubbard. I avoided wide receiver or running back in the first 4 rounds, and yeah, that was my thought. Get a guy that's gonna be relevant for the first 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe half the season, and then figure it out later. But I really liked Chase Brown. I was hoping he would come back to me, where I did draft Chuba Hubbard, but he went 2 picks after me. Another pick I'm trying to find from a different team that I really, really like. I like Patrick going Rico Dowdle in the 9th, and then I really actually liked a couple of his picks, his team. I liked Mooney and Robinson as well, him going back to back there at the 10-11 turn. I think that's excellent value on both guys.
Okay.
I think Tua is a question mark as the only QB on that team, but that team is insane to me. I think Patrick drafted a winner out of the one spot.
It's a little easier at the one spot. So let's talk about that one spot for a second. So let's go. You go McCaffrey. What are you looking to do with the rest of your team? Are you kind of going to abandon running back for a while?
Yeah, that's probably another step. I probably go a different direction. I'm probably not taking David Montgomery at the turn, especially getting Dowdle later. I think you could start McCaffrey and Dowdle and then just load up the rest of your roster and be happy the rest of the season. One of those Dallas Cowboys running backs, both of them could just fall into the end zone once a game each, and you got 2 fine starters on your team in the 9th and 10th round in a 16-team league, or wherever they're going. I think 8th and 9th. But yeah, I love Justice Hill late. I think he's going to have a role in Baltimore. He's going to be on the field third downs. And getting him in the 12th round is another guy. Just an example of guys you can find late to excuse yourself from going a second running back with McCaffrey.
Cool. Anthony, yep. Any thoughts? Yep.
Yeah, if I'm going Christian McCaffrey at 101, which is a perfectly fine pick, I am probably pushing it a little bit later, though I do love David Montgomery. I think he is just such a safe running back to pick. I'm fine with the pick there as it is. I just think with McCaffrey, I'm probably taking Christian Kirk there, if I'm honest, to go with Rashee Rice. I don't know that I like Rashee Rice there, but I would have went Kirk Rice if Rice is your guy, and then I probably would have went. I think Jake Ferguson's a good pick. And then instead of Brian Thomas, since you went receiver where you went Montgomery, I'm probably taking a guy like Gus Edwards or even Javonte Williams, where you took Thomas, and I think that you're in a little bit of a better position, but still a great team overall.
Yeah, no, for sure. So what were your top 3 teams, Nathan? You did the review, and it's tough.
You said top 3 teams?
Yeah, you're not allowed to you're not allowed to name yourself.
Okay, all right. I really like Patrick, as we mentioned. Going down, I think Brian has a really strong team, and Anthony too. I really like teams that go elite QB and then just I think Brian's nailed the strategy with shotgunning the opposite onesie, getting to lock up an elite QB. I think QB is the way to go as opposed to tight end. But locking up an elite QB and then just loading up on receivers and running backs looks to be the strongest to me, with the exception of Patrick in the one spot. But yeah, I really like how Anthony and Brian's team turned out. That's not to say I'm probably leaving playing. Everyone had a strong team. Best ball has kind of poisoned my brain where I like everybody at a value. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, 100%.
There's a lot of that going around. All right,
no, please.
Anthony, what do you think? Your top 3 teams? I swear, if you say
I've been
Nathan.
trying to scan the board quickly. I'm actually not. I wouldn't put myself in the top 3 anyway. So Nathan, I appreciate the vote of confidence, but I don't know that I'm top 3. I mean, we keep talking about Patrick's team, but I like that team a lot. I think Keith did a pretty good job just looking at his picks. Again, I really like Drake London. I think he did a pretty good job. I love Jerome Ford at that value as well. And then just another team to talk about. I think I like Max's team a good bit. AJ Brown there at 12. And then Adams, I think that's a great one too. You get two high ceiling running backs, one safe there. Good tight end, good quarterback. I think he probably didn't need a second quarterback in Herbert, but I think that looks like it's a pretty solid team as well overall.
I think you 100% need that second quarterback.
With Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Richardson last year, right? The Commanders are a bad O-line, bad team. He's going to run. I mean, I think the whole point, if you take Daniels, yeah, you have to take that second QB. You could have maybe gone, well, I don't know. I think that's perfect, to be honest. But
Okay.
I had Anthony Richardson in 2 leagues last year and got burned, so I'm like.
Fair enough.
I will say that does bring me back. I had this thought when I was doing the article, but Adam's team at the 5 spot, he has so many like scoop values throughout the draft that I really like. Like Debo is a great value in the 3rd, I think. Richardson at the 5-5. I like the Jaleel McLaughlin, Dontavian Wicks Flyers late in the draft. Jermaine Burton too. Between both of what could happen to there's contract disputes with Chase and Higgins now. You don't really know what could happen. I really like the way the Flyers that he took in his team.
I like Burton a lot too, especially in Dynasty. I don't think T. Higgins is going to be there next year. I think that they both recognize this is probably the end. He's agreed to play on his last year of his deal, and I think that they drafted Burton knowing that. So I like Burton as a Dynasty stash. But yeah, a good flyer just in case anything happens for sure. He becomes the 2.
Yeah, Flyers are great. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. Anthony, Nathan, thanks for coming. Everyone, Sport Ethos Fantasy Football Guide, check it out. Check everyone on Twitter. We got Nate's handle right there, right? Mm-hmm. Anthony, what's your Twitter? AQ Fresh?
Yep, AQ Fresh.
I always love that. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Well, we're gonna try and do this more and more. We'll definitely do another mock soon. Anyone who watches this, drop a comment. Let us know your favorite team, favorite pick, least favorite team, least favorite pick. You guys want to just any last thoughts before we hit this end?
Just a quick note. Another strategy I did. If you don't get one of the elite guys, like Laporta, McBride, Kelce, Andrews, even Kincaid and Pitts, I think, this year, I like to go with a 2 tight end setup, a safer guy. I picked Freiermuth in the 9th, and then I just like to go with a total upshot dart throw, and I went with Theo Johnson. Maybe a little bit of a homer pick for the Giants, but I mean he's probably going to start at tight end, and he there is a chance at 10 touchdowns or being the number 2 in that offense. There's an outside chance. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's the kind of guy I like to take if I take a safe tight end. I like to pair it with a guy like that.
If I thought the Giants tight end could get 10 touchdowns, I'd probably be drafting Daniel Jones a little higher.
I don't know.
I like it though. I do like Theo Johnson this year. I think he'll be. I think he is the guy to have in that tight end room. I think.
Okay. All right. We're gonna sign off. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. All right, everybody. Cheers. And recording.